Well, when I started was actually, like I was in a cannery village in Port Edward, and we didn't have a lot of money, so we carved our own toys, and we drew a lot. There was no television, no internet, nothing. So we drew, and then, we'd draw something and carve it, just with a knife. And that's basically how I started. I met a teacher named Frida Deasing, and I went to her class and I continued. And I was really lucky because I think about like now, what would I've done if I didn't meet her? You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know what I would have done, and so, but the other part of it too, you have to be really ready and committed to do it. Otherwise, you're not going to do it. You'll do it for a while, but you won't do it forever. So I was lucky. I know all the lines. I carved them and painted them and sanded them, and you know what I mean? And so I know it like no one else knows it. And they sort of like ended up like my children. You start off a block of wood, but they end up like your children and a part of you. And that's how I feel about them, and now I know, like when I sold them, I tried to find them a good home to go to. And people are going to respect it, That's what I did. This one is one of my most important pieces. And I called him the smart one because he was the keeper of the stories. And he lived with the elders, and he was trained by the elders. And he had to know the stories word for word to be the smart one. And I drew him out one Sunday, but he turned out the way he wanted to. That I thought about, he turned out better than I ever thought. And now I'll be remembered by him. And a lot of people said that I'm the smart one. You're the smart one, But it's one of my best masks, and original too. He's really different. Well, this piece is made out of alder, and alder is a hardwood, and it's a really good for detail, clean detail and clean cuts, and it's strong, and you could thin it really, and it'll still be strong. And yellow cedar is really good for large sculptures, bigger ones with really intricate. And the red cedar is for big totem poles and big canoes and longhouses and bent boxes. It's like each wood has its own purpose. And then we use maple for rattles because it's a really hard wood and it gets a really good sound. I'd like to do some of the newer pieces. Yeah. This one's unique because but look inside. It's a transformation mask and opens, and usually we did it both ways, right? So I just did it half. And I used a mirror to show the other half of the mask. Yeah. So I've been doing all kinds of different innovations. And sometimes I'll dream them. Sometimes I'll see them in the forest. Sometimes I'll see them in the mountains and the rocks. Sometimes I'll see them in the snow. So, what I realized is you see what you know. If you don't know them, you don't see them. And that's what I did. Like what I did too is I drew, like every line, I drew those lines. I carved those lines. Some of them I painted them. But it's all drawing. It's all drawing freehand. And you got to be able to draw and do your homework. And I was lucky I had Frida and I did my homework, and she made me do my homework. I've been seeing some new things now, but I can't figure it out, but I will. I'll keep at it till I figure it out. But it takes a lot of work, and an artist too, I don't say I'm going to be creative today. I live it, I think about it, I work at it, because it's not easy. It's not easy. And I've always been trying to find my own style, my own work, my own way of doing it, And that's what I worked all my life to do. I try to get up early and I try to be organized.
Yeah.
I try to work fast and smart. I work fast and smart, yeah. With these guys, if you just go like this, you're a hobby carver, right?
Yeah.
Gotta put some energy in there, then the energy goes in. Let's go down here. This one here is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's the Bear Mother story. And it's a story about this woman, that's the woman there. She said some bad things about the bears. And then she went berry picking with her sisters. And she kept falling down and spilling her berries, and it was getting dark. So the sisters left her behind because they didn't want to be in the forest after dark. So what happened was this handsome guy took her by the hand and said, I'll take you home. And she said she stepped over 2 logs, but they were like big mountains. And she eventually married him. That's her husband, the bear there, right there. He's a bear.
Yeah.
And they had 2 children. That's the little cubs. That's the cub. That's the little cub. And underneath there's a face. Look, you can see that. And that's how we got the bear clan, the grizzly bear clan, from that woman marrying the bear. This one is a warrior. It's a grizzly bear. There's the grizzly bear. That's the cub. The warrior's here. That's his visor. He pulls this up and he looks through here. And he bites through that and holds it. It's a Tlingit warrior. We can take a look over there, eh?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, like the blankets and the regalia, it's important because that's how we show our clan symbols and who we are. Like we have stories on the designs in the blankets, and there are clan stories and how we originate as wolves. And they're always teaching stories. So it's really important. My grandmother said, it's who you are, it's in your bracelets, your blankets, your regalia, you know, your drums, that's who you are. Okay, you know, I call it Wolves, the name of the show, because my grandmother was wolf and my mother was wolf. And that's how we get our crest. So I'm wolf. Our society is matrilineal. And what I wanted to do was honor my ancestors that were wolves. So I called it Wolves. And I'd never done that before. But I thought about it because that's where it came from. It came from their stories, you know, the stories they taught me and support they gave me. Because in the beginning, they was the only ones that believed in me. People didn't think I could do it. But I stuck to it and I did it. This one's a wolf. You can see his long snout, his nose, his teeth, his long ears. That's the wolf's long tail. See it? The tail? Yeah. That's the main symbol for the wolf is his long tail, long snout, long ears. That's one of my really good masks, that's mosquito. It was about this monster that was killing the people, you know. And so they sent the warrior up there, and he was strong enough to kill the monster. And what did he cut them all up in little pieces. He built a big fire and he threw the pieces on the fire. And we say that what happened was the ashes that came off the fire became mosquitoes. That's how mosquitoes happen. And see, that's the guy with the red teeth on the bottom. That's the guy that killed him. And I used mosquitoes, you know, what's his beak, sort of, as the guy's nose. See it? And then that's the mosquito's wings. My wife didn't like that one. She said, it's spooky. It's too spooky. You put it away. Yeah. It's come back to BC again. You know, it's went all across the country almost and to Montreal, and then now it's coming back. And I think they're happy to be home in BC again. It's all different time frames of my life, and getting them all together took a lot of work, and it'll never happen again. So, because they're all going back to private collectors and museums. So you could see the ones that are in museums, but not the private collections. So that's why it's important, and it's really important to see what I did and how far I came in my own art, in my work.